Hey guys, Randy here from Yamaha's Wolverine Nation again. Coming to you this time with an accessory overview and things I added on this brand new 2025 Yamaha Wolverine RMAX4. This is the new Yamaha 3D poly tip-up windshield. This is probably one of the things I've been most excited for. Like I said, if you followed some of our videos, you know that I pretty much always run the folding windshields. I'm a fan of those. In the summer times, I like to have them propped up, folded down, things like that. I like the airflow. So this was a big thing that was on my list. Installation's really clean on this, super tight fitting. I like the fact that you have single operation folding and venting option via the handle right in the middle of the windshield. So if you're riding down the trail, want to pop it up, literally one hand, just kind of pull it out of the notch and it'll pop right up out of the channel here. And it also has a venting option where it'll vent the windshield cracked open probably about 2-3 inches or so, so you do still get some airflow and still have protection from the windshield if you want to run that option as well. So really like that. Big fan of this, and I would definitely recommend checking them out, just for the fact that the poly coating on these is extremely scratch resistant. I ran my last one for the better part of 4.5 years. I mean, I've taken sticks, rocks, tree branches, ran squeegees over it, and just very minimal scratching, super durable. So I think it's personally a little better to spend, or personally little better to spend just a little bit more money on some of the windshields, in my opinion. So I've gone with the Yamaha windshields pretty much since 2016, just for that reason. I've ran a couple of the other ones, and like I said, if you run squeegees or anything across them or frequently wipe them, it just absolutely reduces the clarity on them really quickly, and you end up having to purchase a new one. So kind of in the long run, you end up saving yourself a little bit more money. So that's kind of hitting that with the windshield. Under the hood, I'm not going to pull it off just because I have a couple pictures and posts up on Wolverine Nation if you want to check them out. But utilize the Yamaha bus bar kit for a lot of my wiring. That simplified a lot of the accessory add-ons. I am in no way, shape, or form good with electrical stuff, so anything that can simplify the process works for me. Easily connects, gives you 5 constant powered leads and 5 accessory powered leads. The 2025s are pre-wired with ground and power behind the firewall for the keyed power leads, so makes that a super easy install in about 5 minutes. Also running the Weller tune on this one as well. I always run the Weller tunes on them. Like I said, continue moving down. SAU TVs, running their accent lights and lower fascia lights on these. Like I said, they're just a super clean install, so they're really hard to beat. Also running the Fang lights on this as well. And then, like I said, if you've seen some of my other posts, I also utilize the Vigilante LED headlight halos on these. Just a nice little added touch. I have those tied into my rock lights as well, so those will all come on and function the same at the same time with those. So like I said, just a nice little accent lighting that I like to go with on these. So this is actually the first set of mirrors that I've ever ran on a side-by-side. My first experience with these was with the Yamaha demo a year or two ago, and I actually really like them just because we do a lot of group rides, and you know, when you start adding rear windows and radios and accessories, things like that on the roof, it's hard to see a lot of the group behind you. You know, basically you're just kind of looking for headlights at that point. So running these, like I said, I really like them after running them, so I decided to add these on as well. From what I understand, they're pretty impact resistant. Hopefully you don't have to test them, but they do just have a fold away function like that, so if you hit anything on the trail, they just pop out. But clarity's pretty well on them. They work seamlessly with the integration with the Yamaha accessories. So just a side note with the windshield with that, they will provide you with some longer bolts for the mirror brackets if you are running those. Also, as another side note, the 3D tip-up windshield will be compatible with the upper doors as well. So everything is going to be integrated. It will all work together, along with the glass windshield as well. Those will also work with the new upper doors that are coming out. Like I said, just as a side note there. One thing I did skip over a little bit here, also added Tusk heated seats onto this as well. I'll have a dedicated post on that as far as the install with those, but I mean, if pretty much you follow the install I'll do, you really can't even tell they're in there. Just a nice little fun feature as well, especially if you're in colder climates. Moving our way back here, the Weller Racing AIS block off, I also run that as well, coupled with the tune. It does help with the cold starting function, which was more problematic, I guess, with the 21 to 24s. The new tuning on the 25s really helps the cold starting on that. Obviously I bought this machine in April of 25, so it hasn't been too cold out, so I really haven't had you know, so to speak, test that function at all. But just things that I typically run on my machines as well. Also added in the OEM backup camera. You can see the harness that'll run here from the camera that'll mount on the exhaust guard. Just runs back to a plug that's located on the frame rail of the rear passenger side of the machine. It's literally about a 10-15 minute install, but like I said, check out the post I have on that as well, because you are going to want to get yourself some precision drivers just for the Torx bits on them. I think they're T4 or 5 bit, so they're pretty tiny, so you're going to need a precision driver to put those on to mount them into the bracket for the exhaust guard. So coming down, bringing the bed down here. Typically I run storage boxes in the back, but I wanted to try something different, so ended up going with the Packout bed system mount. I want to say it's UORP off-road. Sorry if I got that wrong, but really it was a super clean install. Not quite sure what I want to do as far as all the Packouts, but just put a divided storage in there, and then I have the big storage bin in the back. So it just makes life a little easier with the Packout systems. I'm kind of a fan of them the more I use them now. Also added on the Yamaha bed extender. That was a big thing I wanted to add on as well, just because bed space is a big thing for us. We do a lot of 100+ mile rides, you know, so we're bringing, you know, multiple coolers, multiple gear, tents, chairs, cooktops, things like that. So it's just nice having a little bit extra bed storage. That I was able to bring my cooler back out and mount that too. It was a big draw for me as well. I think I'm going to end up mounting my Rotopacks on the back of this as well, carrying an extra gallon or two of gas. Like I said, just because we do a lot of long distance riding, it's nice having the bed storage. Yamaha also has bed racks for these as well, if that's something that you would need as well. Spare tire carriers. Since we're in the back, this is the OEM backup camera. Literally you just pop out one of these little plugs. The bracket will slide in, has 2 push pin plastic rivets up top there that'll push in, and that's literally the install of the bracket for that. The camera will screw into it, run your harness, and that's it. And the only thing you'll have to do is change the settings in the Adventure Pro to recognize the camera. There will also be a front camera option coming for these in the near future. I do plan on adding that as well, just because it is a nice accessory to have with the longer wheelbase machines. When you're turning around tight areas, it's nice to have a little bit more visualization. Coming around the machine as well, obviously this is the XTR version coming with the factory B blocks. The one thing I absolutely wanted to add on these were the OEM rocks, or the Yamaha rock sliders. I had about 200 miles on Bill's Limited down in Hatfield, and it was a great machine, but obviously if you're in tight trails, it is a longer machine, so you do have the potential to, you know, get a tree or a rock, you know, kind of up close to the door. So these are just a great added protection on these. Super easy to install. If you've installed the previous rock sliders, they'll install the same. 3 bolts in the back. But almost like a running board. They'll stick out probably, you know, a good 3 to 4 inches or so. So I mean, you do gain a lot of protection coverage in that aspect as well. Like I said, if you do happen to hit a tree that's sticking out or things like that, it's not going to run up the side of your door. You're going to run that down the rock slider, you know, versus ruining a door on the machine. And then they just have the hidden plugs that go in under the frame, and they simply just bolt into that. Like I said, it's just kind of wanted to do a quick video. Didn't want to touch on a lot of the installation stuff because I've been doing dedicated posts for that, but this is just the overview of the 25 RMAX that I had, some things that I added. Going to continue adding some other things to it. I plan on adding the rear door speakers, the MTX door speakers that come with the Limited, which I believe they're all the same across the board now. At least they show the same part number. So I will probably end up adding those as well, have a post on that. And then depending once the upper doors come out, like I said, this is more suitable as our family rig. You know, we're going to be bringing our kids with us, things like that. So I may end up adding the heater and possibly the rear window and upper doors, just kind of enclosing this because like I said, this is going to be more the family rig. Did add on the MTX subwoofer as well. That mounts behind the driver's side rear seat. Takes about an hour or so to install. 2 brackets. Have to pull the inner fender out and run your power wire and ground up to the battery. Just one side note that I would maybe do a little differently on the install next time is if you're planning on installing a lot of accessories up behind the firewall, running your wires down to your switches, things like that, obviously space is a little bit tighter. I would probably add the sub in last and run your power and ground up there. That way those wires are on top or separate from all your other wires, just because this unit will have to come out when you do your clutch maintenance and service on that. So like I said, just a little bit of a side note, you know, just might make it a little easier in the future when you have to pull that out to do the clutch service. But other than that, like I said, it takes about an hour or so to install. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I will try and leave some links to some of the stuff that I added as far as the machine, if you want to check that out and how to get it, where it's available. Also added the Hunter Works exhaust tip on this. I had it left over from actually I think my X2, so it's the same for the X2 RMAX as well. So I ended up added that on as well. I said coupled with the Weller tune, so get a couple more horsepower, a little bit more sound. But like I said, if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I will try to get most of the links up for the products that I used here. If you have any questions, like I said, let me know. Thanks.